Warrior part 3. This should be the final part. Do Warrior neutral cards, and then kind of get my final thoughts on all the classes, the whole set of cards in general, and my predictions. And then after that, I'm going to be doing some theory crafting. And so some of these opinions are subject to change after I build things. Alright, Scourgelord Garrosh is the one I'm saying, like, this is like the second or third best card in the set. Just super powerful, really useful. So we got 8 mana, Battlecry, equip a 4/3 Shadowmourne that also damages adjacent minions. So basically, yeah, it's basically like a little mini flame strike, and then you get 3 of those off too, and then on top of that, you can deal 1 damage to all minions with Blade Storm, 2 mana, and since this is only 8 mana, as if you play this on turn 10, you can do that in the same turn potentially. So that's 5 damage to pretty much everything, and then yeah, you're just AoEing. You're basically AoEing the shit out of everything. Like once you have just with this weapon alone, and then with this also, like that'll finish things off. This will kill small minions. This synergizes with a ton of your warrior cards. Yeah, I think Tempo Warrior is going to be a tier 1 deck. I think this is like one of there might be like a control version of Warrior that's going to be stronger, but I'm thinking it's going to be like more of like a tempo-ish deck. And then yeah, like so this will be more of like, this will finish things off. It'll be like a slower tempo deck. So I guess, I don't know, maybe it's like more mid-range you'd call it. It'll play exactly how the old Tempo Warrior played, but just like, obviously this is 8 mana, so you gotta wait a little longer. So this'll just be to like kind of like finish things off or set things up a little later than normal. But like all these other stuff, like the AoEs and this card, they all like help clear off aggro minions earlier. So like I see like the best deck of this version of this deck being like really good against aggro, and then even against control you can have a good chance of just like, because less of this will have been cleared out, you're gonna be able to like finish minions off so much that you can kind of just like pound through in the end against other control decks and like finish out a little faster. But I mean, I could be wrong. That's what I'm saying. Like it might be more of like just a straight up control deck. But either way, this card's really good. This is like a 5 out of 5 card. I think it's like a meta defining card. If it isn't now, like if it somehow it isn't now, and I'm just like completely wrong, it definitely will be like in future expansions. If you keep adding cards to Warrior, like you add cards to this, like a whole class can be based just around this card. So move on to Rotface. Whenever this minion survives damage, summon a random legendary minion. That's just really good, because if it was like added to your hand like some of these other cards that are similar, like then it would just be too slow. But you're summoning it, so again you can play this first and then this later, or like you're gonna have so many, like Blood Razor, like you'll have probably played the first attack of this, right, and like the AoE, so you could play this and then swing in with the second attack of this in the same turn and like instantly summon a legendary. And this with this body, like a 4/6, it's probably going to survive. Even as a 4/5, it might survive more than one attack, but yeah, it does have to survive. It'd be a little bit crazier if it just got it from being damaged. I think that's what some people are thinking of it as, but Yeah, just on playing on an empty or just playing on the board, it's probably going to take up 2 hits, so it's going to summon 1 legendary. So it's going to be like 8 mana for like the average. If you average out like the legendaries, like their bodies for the weak ones and the good ones, they average somewhere around like it's something like a 5/5 ish or like around there. Like their stats. So it would be like an 8 mana. Basically, if you it's like kind of an 8 mana 10/10 or 8 mana 9/11. That's just if it summons 1 minion, but like since you have so much self-activators like the animated berserker, you would wait till turn 9, play this, play that, swing in the second hit of that. If it survives, then you use the hero power of this or play this hero power. Maybe you play a second one of these weapons or just a regular whirlwind. A lot of ways to activate it. Yeah, there's a very good card. It's like I think it's like a 4.5 4. Maybe I'm getting too excited. Maybe it's just the regular 4. Okay, bring it on. 2 mana, gain 10 armor, reduce the cost of minions in your opponent's hand by 2. There's a nerf to Yogg. Yeah, because I mean that's in a very control-y deck. When their cards are low, maybe you don't care about innervating all their cards out. Even then, you probably do, because if the cards they're still holding are probably like expensive ones, and then now they can play those expensive cards with other cards they couldn't before. So you don't want to. I don't think you do want to play this against control decks. Even though like some control decks, it's like it doesn't matter if they play some of their minions earlier because you're just trading removal and all that. It's like it doesn't really like it's just bad. Like it's not worth the 10 armor. Like it would be good maybe like as a desperation move against Aggro where it's like, well, you're gonna die in a turn or two, like if you don't gain health or like remove guys, and you just like, okay, I'll just gain them health, but then they can get out. Even in aggro, it's good because now they're going to play the minions. Their minions that were cheap, they can play those for free in combination with the next minion they draw. You don't want to play it early on ever against any deck, but like in a deck you'd put this in like where you're like maybe on turn 2 it's like, oh, I could armor up hero pass, I could hero power pass, or I could play this card, and it would be tempting, but you don't want to do that. So yeah, I think mostly this is just like a it only has like two, like one real use is like, yeah, desperation against aggro to survive, and you can instantly get up to 10 armor, so you could shield slam pretty much any minion and kill it. So that's, but again, that's more like a desperation removal instead of just like executing something. So yeah, it nerfs Yogg because now it's actually a huge nerf to Yogg. But there's so many spells, it's not going to come up like frequently really, but still, like they play this and all of a sudden, they play Yogg, let's say, and then like now all your cards are reduced by or all your minions are reduced by 2, and maybe this gets cast again by Yogg. Maybe you get double animate all your minions out. At least it's just minions, so it's not as terrible. But again, like the aggro cards that are going to be coming out earlier, like are minions, and then later on, like I guess the knights don't count as minions, but stuff like Rotface and Ysera, Antonidas, Alexstrasza, you don't want to give. See, that's the thing, is like maybe it's like, oh, 10 armor, that's good against mage. You want to give mage like a way to combo Antonidas and Alexstrasza even easier? No, they could play like Alexstrasza and Ice Block in the same turn. Yeah, just a very bad card. Dead Man's Hand. But again, like on reviewing cards, like it's not like, oh man, like Blizzard doesn't know what they're doing. Like, how can they think this is a good card? It's like, no, you guys, like, it's not meant to be a good card. It's meant to nerf Yogg. It's meant to be like a nerf to getting random spells. It's a discovery nerf. It has like 2 or 3 niche situations where maybe you do want it, and then so like it has the potential to be played, like a very small one, to be legitimately played as a card you want, and then other than that, it's a nerf, so it's like a double purpose there. So 2 mana Dead Man's Hand, shuffle a copy of your hand into your deck. This card's really fun. I like this card a lot. It's similar to like the Priest Legendary. I mean, copies its whole opponent's deck, so that gets you a lot more immediate value. But this is the Priest one has more upside, but this one is more playable. More often, like it has more like uses. Like the first use is like depending on the matchup, you're like, oh, like it's like it's like say it's like a deck where you're gonna need like lots of maybe like Jade, you're gonna need like like Brawl's gonna be really key here. So you just as soon as you can, you either maybe you just even if you only have Brawl is the only card in your hand, like you just have one other card, it's worth it just to play this. That's one of the things where this card's being really underrated. I think this is an amazing card, actually. I think it's like 4.5 stars. Like people are under-missing that use is like when your hand is low, if there's specific cards you want to be in your deck more of like Brawl, then you're gonna get you can get them, and then you have a higher chance of getting like your second copy. So you actually have 3, so you're gonna get more copies of that if you can like Brawl against Jade Druid. Of course, if you have a bunch of good cards and it's control, you have a big full hand, you have a lot of draw, then you can just you're adding a lot of like length and range to your deck. You're not gonna fatigue, and you got a lot more stuff to do. And then there's like obviously everyone's just thinking of the dream scenario, but of course like that's where you wait till you have the other Dead Man's Hand, and you can go infinite with Dead Man's Hand. So again, like Jade Druid won't beat you in fatigue, and then you can run the what's it called? There's something Geist, right? The one that burns the 1 mana spells. Yeah, Skulking Geist. Like, if you run that against Jade, and then you run this, and you wait till you have that. Most specifically, you wait till you have a Brawl and this in your hand, and you can outlong game a Jade Druid. Easy. Yeah, I really like this card. Yeah, 4.5 stars. Mountain Fire Armor, another good card. Death Rattle, if it's your opponent's turn, gains 6 armor. Yeah, this is just, it's a thought-provoking card. You gotta really think about what do you trade with? Do you just attack face? They gotta think a lot. Or do they want to trade into it? Do you want to let you trade up so you don't get the armor? It's good against aggro, and it's good against control too. Like it's really good against aggro because you either kill the minion or you gain the armor, or sometimes both, because they have to trade the minion in, and a lot of time. And then against control, you're just it's not like 4 can trade up into things. Like it's not as good against control, but it's good against mid range and really good against aggro. Yeah, I'd give it like 4 stars. Valkyrie Soul Claimer, 3 mana 1/4. Whenever this minion survives, summon a 2/2 ghoul. So it's kind of like a weaker patron, but it's also cheaper. So you can get off the combos earlier, and you can go straight in from 3 to 4 with this Blood Razor. and right away, so then it's basically a 3 mana 1/3 plus a 2/2. So it's like a 3 mana 3/5, which is pretty good, and then you can get even more out of it. That's just like a good curve right there. But if you're just playing it on turn 3, a 3 mana 1/4 is really bad, but there's a good chance that it won't survive whatever is attacking. I know it's actually 50-50 because like depending on whether you have the coin or not, who went first, you might be playing this against bigger minions, or you might be playing it against their 2-drop minions. In that case, they probably are going to take 2 hits because it might be like a 3/2, and it's going to take 2 hits, so you're going to get the ghoul out of it. So it depends on like how much how many whirlwinds you're going to put in this. I think it's worth putting in your deck. We'll see. It's definitely I don't know how to like rate this really yet. I want to play with it first and play against what decks are going to be getting played. How many whirlwind effects can I fit into this tempo style warrior? We know there's at least 1, 2. You're gonna probably run 2 of these, right? So that's 4 plus infinite with Garish. But let's just say like, yeah. Hey, what's up, Kevin? Just doing the card review. Maybe you can help me out on things that I'm not thinking of on some of this stuff. After I'm on all the way down to warrior, and then after this I'm on neutral, and then I'm gonna go back and kind of like summarize my thoughts on all the decks, and then the game is like a whole right now, like the card set and everything. But there's also some couple cards where I was just like, I need input from other people, where I'm just blanking out, where I'm like, I can't figure out like why they would make this card. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm on this card. Yeah, I don't know how. I think this is a good card, but I'm gonna need to play with these like tempo warrior. It would definitely be the best in a tempo warrior whirlwind kind of deck, and I don't know like how many like whirlwind effects that you'd want in that kind of deck, and that would also change how good this card is. Yeah, a lot of really cool. This is a really cool set. I actually think. Yeah, this is a. I'll talk about it more later too, but I think that this might be the best set, like, as far as like just cool stuff going on, because this is the first set that hasn't had any vanilla cards, which is cool. So like everything does something, and it's also, there's just like a lot of the classes like have stuff added to them, so I think there's still going to be like a lot of viable decks and classes. Yeah, well, yeah, that's the hard thing. Like just this in alone, if you run 2 of this weapon, that's 4 whirlwinds just right there. And then, so it's like how many regular whirlwinds you want to, and then Garish is infinite whirlwinds. Obviously, but you get him a lot later. You get this. I don't know if you've seen this. Yeah, I was saying like this is like one of the 3 best cards in the set, I think. Yeah, you get the Shadowmourne. Yeah, frequently drawing. Because then if you had this, okay, I'll move on to this card. Yeah, so I'll have to play decks in like, I don't even think theory crafting is good enough for this card. I'll have to actually play the decks to figure out whether it's good. So Death Revenant, 5 mana 3/3, Battlecry gain +1/+1 for each damage minion. There's again like these all synergize. All of these ones right here. This Y shape. All these ones like +1/+1 for each damage minion. So is that good though? Because it's basically the same as a frothing berserker, except it starts with 1 less health. And instead of gaining like instead of gaining the 2 attack, it's gaining health too, so it can get a lot bigger. Like you can survive more, but it starts with 1 health less and it costs 2 more. Is that really worth it? Oh yeah, I did forget about Sudden Genesis. Man, Sudden Genesis got really buffed in this set. Because you got this card, this card, this card. These, yeah. I wonder how much can you combine with that card. Shuffles your hand back in your... Oh yeah, and the Dead Man's... Well, with the Sudden Genesis, it's like how much can you, Wait, the Sudden Genesis summons them, right? It summons them to the field, or does it give you... Yeah. Dang it. Like, I thought Sudden Genesis summoned them, a copy of them on the field, and they're equally as damaged, like, they have the same damage. Which would still, I mean, it's still good. The Blood Clone. Yeah, there's like 2 that are like similar. They're both like, they both would be probably pretty good. I'm gonna open up the deck thing and see. I'm not sure if those are like, with these minions, like, except for maybe this one, these minions are more so like, oh, I guess Sudden Genesis with that Rot Face is probably pretty crazy, huh? And like, let's see. So we got, oh yeah, Commanding Shout is better too because you can make sure they don't die. Oh man, dude, Ungoro got nerfed though, man. Explore Ungoro, one of my favorite cards, because of the... it got nerfed because of this dude right here, Skulking Geist. He'll if you play a Explore Ungoro, you instantly lose the game. Unless they already played him. Okay, where is... Yeah, Explore Ungoro replaces your deck with 1-cost spells that discover a random a minion or spell. Wait, do I not have Blood Clone? Oh, okay. Blood Warriors, add a copy of each damage friendly minion to your hand. So that one would be good for like the more control-y styles of the deck, but for the tempo style, like that would be kind of like a little slow. And then wait, where's the Sudden Genesis? I don't have either card. Summon copies of your damage minions. So that one would be better for like tempo. So yeah, I think this is too expensive. It's too slow for this. Like, because if you play it on curve, it's really weak and it's gonna die. And then if you play it like on turn 7 and you combo it with some of this other AoE stuff, like unless this stuff's already down. So this means like if this gets damaged, it doesn't lose health though, right? Being for each damage, yeah. I don't think it loses health when it gets damaged by 1 because it gains 1 every time. That's actually some kind of significant. You can like keep whirlwinding it and it just gains attack. Maybe it could get out of control, but yeah, this is slow. Because you're gonna have to wait till like turn like 7 or 8 before you could like actually pump it up to where it's not gonna die right away. And then I can stand against turn 7 and 8 stuff, it's still probably gonna die quick. Oh yeah, the elementals, that's just something too. That one would be you'd be kind of going more all in on damaging them and like trying to like finish out the game before you would get a Death Knight out, because you'd do that and you could do double frothing berserkers. Yeah, so animated berserker, 1 mana 1/3. After you play a minion, deal 1 damage to it. So yeah, this is really good in these decks that it synergizes with. If it's not in one of those decks, it's not very good. So overall, it seems like a pretty good card though, because it's so cheap you can combo it really well with all this other stuff. So I think it's just a good card. Yeah, 4 damage for the price of 2. Gobarashi. I wonder if that would be playable. It's pretty slow, Gobarashi. Like, Goob. Let's look up the Goob. He's gonna bring back one of the classic cards that doesn't get play. God. Is it? Wait, where the hell is it? Why is it under Berserker? I thought it was called a Berserker. Oh, well, I know what it does. It's the 2/7. It costs 5 though, right? I wonder if I like deleted mine. Oh no, I'm in crafting. I don't know where it's at. It doesn't exist anymore. It's been so long since people played it. It just doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, so moving on to this card. This is, of course, the insane. Well, it's not insane. It's just a very good weapon. 4 mana, 2 damage, 2 attacks, and it has Battle Cry and Death Rattle. Deal damage to all minions, so whirlwind to all minions. It's good against aggro. Okay against control, but with your synergies, it's good against either. So yeah, that one's just like a really good. It's like 4.5 rating. And then the spell 2 mana, Forge of Souls. Draw 2 weapons from your deck. This it's a good card. You put this in Pirate Warrior. And then, maybe you don't. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's really good in Pirate Warrior though, because if it's late game, Yeah, you can't. It doesn't. If you can't play like two weapons at once, right? But it also makes sure that like the next cards you draw aren't going to be weapons, so you're not going to run into that problem again after that. So you maybe do like a one Pirate Warrior, or I don't know. The early turns you do want to play your minions instead of just having this in your hand, so it's not like you keep it in the mulligan. But sometimes too, like Pirate Warrior runs into a problem where you have a bunch of like upgrade type stuff and minions and spells, and you have no weapons, and then that's a problem. And you might want to. This could be a one of in like a more controlled deck, because you can guarantee draw into this. You can, if you're playing. So even in like aggro or non aggro, you could basically guaranteed. It gives you like another shot at getting your Fiery War Axe, and if you get your Fiery War Axe early on, that like really helps you win games. So it's like one extra chance at drawing that like on turn 2, or you could like coin turn 1. If you don't have a War Axe already, you could coin this out, and you'll have a War Axe. Yeah, how much the meta slows down. I feel like the meta is definitely going to slow down with all the. It's not that like all these classes got a bunch of control decks, because like aggro decks can just abuse control decks. It's the fact that the classes, and then specifically a lot of the neutral cards, are anti-aggro, and there's just so many. And like I feel like every class might have gotten an anti-aggro card, and then there's multiple anti-aggro neutral cards, and this set probably got the least amount of aggro cards of any set ever. So they really only got like maybe like this helps Pirate Warrior. There's a card, that one pirate, you could use it in Pirate Warrior. I think it's better than the 5/4. Other people don't think so. And then there was like a couple other aggro cards. Oh, aggro druid got like better, and it was already good. But some of the cards that counter aggro druid really well, and a lot of the AOE stuff, like the AOE stuff, like the Warlock AOE is really good against aggro, and it would be good against the token druid. Yeah, let's go through real quick. So druid got this card's insane against aggro, like the Spreading Plague. The summon a 1/5 taunt for every minion. Let's see what else. I mean, they just got a bunch of taunt minions in general. Those are good, all good against aggro. Their hero power is pretty early on. Like it can help you stabilize. You gain 5 armor, and then you can keep gaining 3 more armor, or 3 attack each turn. So that'll help you against it. Hunter didn't get anything against aggro. Oh, it got this exploding bloat bat. Yeah, Death Rattle deal 2 damage to all minions, but that's not that good an option. They can just trade efficiently into that. What else did they get? Yeah, that's all they. Oh, this is Toxic Arrow is okay. They didn't get that much, so the Hunter is still going to be weak against aggro, but they're probably not going to be played that much anyway. Mage didn't get. This is okay against aggro. You can add a mirror in entity, so that's okay. And then, but they already were good against aggro with all the freezing effects and AOE they already have. And then, if you do get to Frostlet, well, I guess if you get to turn 9, you won already, right? But if you do get to Frostlet's Jaina, then the aggro will never beat you. Paladin already had some good stuff, but then they got, let's see, what else did they get that's new? They got Righteous Protector, really good against aggro. This could be Desperate Stand is good. Oh yeah, Blackguard is really good against them. That can, around turn 6 is when they can start to kill you, but if you drop this and you live one more turn, then the healing is going to get out of. Well, that you can clear and heal at the same time. What did Priest got this cheap life steal spell that like clears small minions and heals you. That's like a small body. That's a life steal. It's a small body. That one's not that great. What else? Yeah, that's too slow, but so that's not anti-aggro. Oh yeah, this is Rogue got something even. They got. They were already good against aggro anyway, but they got like you're immune with this weapon, so you don't take damage while you're trading away, and then you can add that Doomerang to it, so you can, or other weapons, so you can clear even more. You can give your weapons a lifesteal to heal more. Shaman, of course, they've already got like tons of AoE and like taunt stuff, and then they got this 5 mana 2/7 taunt. And their aggro decks, like Shaman is one of the aggro decks, and they really only got like this, and like that's not like a great aggro tool. Most of like the Shaman cards that the Shaman got are not aggro deck cards. Same with like Druid did get some aggro stuff though. Like this is really good in aggro Druid, and the Spreading Plague can actually be good in them too. The Crypt Lord is good in Token Druid. They got Token Druid got buffed, unfortunately, but other than that, like Pirate Warrior might have got like slightly buffed, which is ridiculous. Yeah, we already said like Defile is good against aggro. Of course, all these Whirlwind cards are. But yeah, okay, yeah. So that's all the warrior cards anyway. What's your top 3 classes? Top 3 classes fun and which for competitive? I'm gonna have to see all these. Think about these neutral ones first. Like, and my initial thought is that Control Paladin will be the best deck, and then that control-ish or tempo-ish warrior might be like the second best. I think it's going to be really good, but maybe not. Like, but for sure, I think Control Paladin is going to be the best. And then I think Priest is going to be really good, but probably not as good as that. And Token Druid will be really good. Like some kind of aggro-ish or Token Druid would probably be like the other tier 1 deck. And then Control Paladin. And then Jade Druid's still really good, actually. So is it Arthas. This is like this is one of my other favorite cards in the set. It's Death Rattle, a 4 mana 2/2. Yeah, there's like a ton of different priests. I don't know for sure which one's going to be the best. Probably it's probably Dragon Priest, but Death Rattle Priest actually seems like it's really good. And so the Kazakus Priest could be good too. Kazakus Priest is going to be the one that has the most finishing potential, I think. But it's also going to be weaker early on, like and kind of in the mid game. Yeah. So this. Yeah, let's look at all the different cards you can get from Arthas and the Lich King Arthas. So yeah, you're gonna lose tempo when you play it, but the cards you get gain you so much tempo and value that it's completely worth it. So 4 mana 2/2. It might even be worth it if you just like if that was just a spell that didn't give you a body. Like all of them are good. Like so, we got Frostmourne. It's a 7 mana 5/3 weapon. So basically Ashbringer, but except Well, I mean, you have to pay for it. Summon every minion that killed by this weapon, so that's pretty crazy. It's basically like, yeah, you just get. It's kind of like mind control for three minions, but you eat the damage for them too. Oh wait, one thing I didn't realize about this is that it's a death rattle. It's not like I was thinking. It summons them as you kill them, but it's not until you get through all 3 charges. But this also, in a way, that discourages them from using weapon removal on it, because then the minions that it killed will be summoned right away. Army of the Dead. Remove the top 5 cards of your deck. Summon any minions removed. That one's pretty crazy. Yeah, for 6 mana, you can potentially summon like 15, 20 worth of mana to your field, or more, way more. Because I mean, that's 5 cards. You're probably gonna have like. Yeah, it depends on which deck you're playing. If you're playing in a spell-heavy deck, then this card's bad. But if you're playing a minion-heavy deck, then you're going to summon a ton of minions off of that. Some of those minions you might not want to summon. So yeah, that one's more dependent. Yeah, the Frosthorn summons for you. Like, you kill them and you get them on your side when all the minions you killed. And then you could synergize this with upgrades and Captain Greenskin and stuff like that. Destroy all minions, remove the top card from your deck for each minion destroyed. This one's good, and it's a lot more versatile than it seems, because like, if you don't want to get rid of a ton of your cards, you can just you can use it for like 1 or 2 minions that are left, or like sacrifice your own minion on purpose. Death Grip. Steal a minion from your opponent's deck and add it to your deck. I really like that card. I was saying earlier, like, some of my favorite cards they added in the whole game are, I love cards that disrupt your opponent's deck and like ruin their like combo decks and game plans, like where you could get like Antonidas in like the quest mage with this, and then it's just game over. And yeah, add it to your hand too. And this card too takes some thought too, because you might get a minion that you can play right away, but maybe you don't want to play it, so they don't know which. Actually, I'll often see, like, when you steal the minion, I don't know for sure if like they know which one you took. I don't know if they know which minion you took or not. That'll, if they don't know, then it's like maybe you don't want to play it right away, so they don't know what they're missing. So Death Coil, deal 5 damage to an enemy, or restore 5 health to a friendly character. That one's just like a really cheap, powerful, versatile spell. Obliterate, destroy a minion. Your hero takes damage equal to its health. Yeah, just cheap removal. Usually you could probably afford to do that. Imagine 8. It's even better. Anti-magic, 4 mana anti-magic shell. Give your minions +2/+2. Can't be targeted by spells or hero powers. I mean, see, this is good in any kind of like tokenish deck. That spells like crazy. Like, so basically, like, Arthas and Arthas are both good in pretty much every deck. Maybe like in aggro, maybe they're not good in Pirate Warrior. I mean, obviously Arthas isn't because he's an 8 mana, but I don't know, would you like want like a super aggressive or like Evolve Shaman? Like, this would be good in Evolve Shaman just for that alone, that chance alone. Or like the Destroy all minions is bad. That one's really good yeah. So yeah, basically these are good in every deck except for maybe like the super aggro facey decks where it's like a 4-mana 2/2 is such a tempo loss for those decks that it's not worth it. It's just Arthas and Arthas draw these, and then Death and Decay deal 3 damage to all enemies. So it's just like a 3-mana. It's cheaper than Consecration, and it does 1 more damage. So yeah, those are all like super powerful game-changing spells. And then this one you can get it stolen with Priest. Oh, you like Death Knight drawing cards? No, it's just these two. Oh, like ones that draw Death Knight? So what do you mean? Or are you talking about the cards in them like these ones? There's just like, yeah, there's, oops. What the okay. That page doesn't want to cooperate with me. Yeah, just destroy. Yeah, there's only one that draws the cards. It's remove the top 5 cards from your deck. Summon any minions removed. Oh wait, that's not really draw, but to summon it. Oh yeah, it's basically draw. And then there's the. Oh no, they were saying there was more I think they were saying, oh, you might have been talking about, is there was more cards they hadn't revealed because there's like that in the decks that they built, they pretty much put in all the decks. There are cards that they hadn't shown before, but he was saying that you might have not seen all of them, which there was just like a handful of cards that weren't on the streams. So we got Prince Kelesh. So yeah, 2-mana 2/2 Battlecry. If your deck has no 2-cost cards, give all minions in your deck +1/+1. Most people think this card is complete trash, which is probably it's probably a bad card, but I'm gonna. There has to be at least one deck in one class that has little to no 2-drops that you could put this in, and like it would make the deck way better. So I'm gonna say that this card it has potential actually. And this card, I definitely think this is one of the most underrated cards in the whole set. Like, because there are decks that have little to no 3-drops. I know that. And then, well, even if that's the case, there's some like tricky things you can do with this one that you'd be willing to cut your 3-drops just because you can like abuse the game. Like this effect's good. Like, because there's. So it's a 3-mana 3/3 Battlecry. If your deck has no 3-cost cards, transform into a 3/3 copy of a minion. So the reason why that's good is, it's like Faceless Manipulator. It gets the effects of the card like Faceless does, but it costs 2 less. So that means you can combo it with cards that you can't combo Faceless with, or cards that like were previously nerfed just specifically because of the Faceless thing. So you couldn't combo those and like. Just to like OTK your opponent, so it has potential to do stuff like that. And then on top of that, there's certain cards that you actually want to die earlier, so you don't want to copy their health. So like you can copy them and then trade in and get an extra death rattle. Or yeah, like you can copy the druid legendary. Where's the druid? That was. I don't want to go. I'll bring up my other page. So go up to druid. Yeah, like this. The Hardonyx death rattle summon your taunt minions that died this game. Like one of the downsides to this is, it's a 9 mana 3/7, so you might not be able to have it get killed off on that turn. But if you on the next turn you copy the 3/3, the 3/3 is going to be a lot more likely to let you trade into their minions and summon the taunts, and then that also allows you to summon all your taunts twice, just right there, just like Faceless would. But like again, like with Faceless, it might be hard to kill them off, and it's more expensive. So that yeah, it also has potential in that kind of stuff. And also, what I was saying before was with the Paladin hero, like you're probably you're pretty much never gonna get all of those 4 horsemen off. But like if there is a way to get them off, the way is probably, if you went all in with the deck just for that, it's probably going to be something like you have like 1 or 2 of them summoned, right? And then you play a prince to copy one of them, and now one of those 4 horsemen is a 3/3, so it has a little bit better chance of surviving. And then you can also, on top of that, you can set another one of their attacks to health and attack to 3 with this. But you can use Desperate Stand on one of the horsemen in combination too. Maybe play this down to get in the way. But yeah, like to give a minion death rattle, return this with 1 life. So they would have to like they're having to kill off so many horsemen that you can just like put death rattle effects, resummon them, and then like copies of them. Maybe even add like this guy and 2 facelesses, and just keep trying to copy the horsemen so that. Even though they're killing some, you're making a copying one and then making them the new one. So like you can like slowly like work your way up, if you can do that. If you're deliberately trying to get that OTK off, like that's going to be the only way. And like this card's probably going to be part of it, but maybe it won't be. I don't know. So yeah, I think it has potential. But like it sounds like probably I'm like making this card to be really good. It's still not a good card, but it has like lots of potential, like more potential than these other princes. And then this one's just terrible. You can use him with the guy that kills all 3 and below your cards in the deck. Yeah, there's 4 horsemen. No, there's 3 princes. This is something different. Yeah, no, they're 4 different ones. Yeah, you can't just copy the same one 4 times and get the spell. They're 4 different ones. But if you copy, like say the first, it works the same way the Shaman Hero Power does, where it summons a random one, but it won't summon the same one like with the Hero Power. It'll like just like the totems work. So, but you make a copy of one of them. So yeah, they kill one of those copies, but then that one's still there. So you summon the next horseman. So now you have 2 of the horsemen, and then you make a copy of either one of those. It doesn't matter. And when you copy one of those, yeah, then they can kill one of them. But again, you like can just summon another one, and then yeah, like you just if you keep making copies, then instead of just having to kill like one of the named horsemen, they have to kill an extra copy of them. And then if of course you like Blessings of Kings them or Dino Size or some shit like that, like then they're gonna be really hard to get rid of. You hide them behind taunts. Yeah, so but this one, the Prince of the Line Air, now this is probably the worst card in the game. I mean the worst card in this set, at least. Not the worst card in the game, but the worst card in this set. The 4 mana 4/4 Battlecry. If you have no 4-cost minions, gain lifesteal and taunt. Like a 4 mana 4/4 with lifesteal and taunt, even if you didn't have to have no 4-cost minions, isn't that good, honestly. Like at that stage in the game, you still, unless it's against aggro, you haven't lost that much life. Like it would only be okay against aggro, and even then, if you're sacrificing your 4 cost cards, then that's not good against aggro. So yeah, like you probably don't have that much life missing, so the life steal's not that good. And like, do you want like a 4 health minion with taunt? Like, isn't that powerful? Like, it's just gonna die, and then you had to get rid of all of your good 4 cost minions to have it. I really thought they were gonna have these 3 princes, and because they're like either bad or like subpar, like then there was going to be like another legendary that's like, oh, if you play all 3 princes this game, or if you have all 3 princes in your deck, then do this, and then that card would be like an insane card, because then you would have no 2, 3, or 4 cost cards besides these. So that would be worthy of having like a card that would have like a really insane effect. It would be like a 5 cost card that's just ridiculous. And I wonder if they did that. I bet they played with that, and then it was just like either it was too good or too bad. Alright. Oh yeah, but moving on. So this is the Dr. Boom of the set, the Lich King. He's an auto include in probably every control deck. Yeah, I can't think of a control deck you wouldn't want to have him in. Maybe Jade Druid, just because you want to draw your Jades more consistent. But even then, I think you might want to put this in Jade. Like, you're going to be cut. I'd probably cut like a Jade Idol anyway. But so like, because if you do run up against that one card, then you're not completely out of luck. So you got a room for an extra minion, or you could cut Yogg. This in Jade Druid. Yeah, just like, so this one, an 8/8, an 8-mana 8/8 with taunt, like that in itself is okay. It's like, if that was just by itself, it's not enough, that because there's like already like a druid minion like that, the tree, and it's just too slow, not good enough. But then you get, at the end of every turn, you get one of these cards. So even if it dies on that first turn, it's worth it, because you got a big body that they had to spend a removal on, and you get one of these cards, and all these cards are good, and some of them are, depending on what deck you're playing as, some of them are insane and like insanely good, like pretty much would lock up the game in a victory, and then even the worst ones are still good. Like, you can just hold on to them until they're valuable. Yeah. No, it's just, yeah. It's the only deck you wouldn't want to put this in, of course, is just an aggro deck. Aggro decks, and even then, you might even want to put this in like a token druid or like an aggro druid, like one with living mana and all that. Just off of the chance of getting this anti-magic shell, or the Army of the Dead spell. Yeah, just a crazy good card. I'm glad that they made the Lich King a good card. First of all, I was worried that they weren't going to do him. I am disappointed they didn't call him like Arthas, or Arthas the Lich King, because it is supposed to be him. It's like the one with the white hair, and they already like confirmed beforehand, and like obviously like in like the adventure mode, it'll probably be more obvious that he's Arthas. But still, they have him, and he's like the best card in the set. The only cards that are like close to as good are like the Paladin Death Knight and the Warrior Death Knight, and so yeah, that's pretty 5 out of 5 meta defining card. Dr. Boom levels of good. It has like a little slightly less immediate impact than Dr. Boom did, and it's like 1 more, but it has taunt too, and it has crazy spells, like, yeah. And then the next best card in the whole set is right next to it, I think. Some people are underrating this card, I think. Some people are giving it the credit it deserves, and then some people are underrating it. Like, I'd said back at the beginning of the review, it's like I feel like a lot of people review cards wrong, and some people are like, oh, well, and you can only like play this in like Paladin and Shaman, and that's it. And that's like, well, you're gonna say the card is a piece of shit because you can only play it in like 2 or 3 decks, like. No, that's not the purpose of the card. Obviously, it's going to be better in some decks than other, and it's completely insane in Paladin. It's really good. It's a 2 of in almost probably every Paladin deck. This is a 2 of. Like, even if you didn't run Burn Bristle, you're still getting Divine. You're getting a 4 mana 3/3 with Divine Shield and Taunt. That's still okay. And then with Burn Bristle, you're also getting Lifesteal, and then in Shaman, if all you have to do is run Alakir, which is a good card anyway, so you can put this in control decks, or even in a mid-range Shaman, you can just run Alakir just for the chance of getting all these effects. So in Shaman, you'll get Wind Fury, Divine Shield, and Taunt, like a 4 mana 3/3 with Wind Fury, Divine Shield, and Taunt. And yeah, like you're saying, over here, you get 2 of them. And then, in Shaman you could echo them too. But yeah, like, and look at these other cards. So like, you might even have this. You're gonna have 2 of these. People are thinking, oh well, you might draw Tyrion or Wicker Flame before you draw that. Well, guess what? In all the new Paladin decks, this is gonna be a 2 of in every single every Paladin deck, every single one. Like. Maybe it'll be a 1 of in some like really greedy control decks, but it's probably a 2 of in every deck. So that means you have this and 2 Tyrions, maybe a Wicker Flame Burn Bristle. Maybe you don't have Wicker Flame. Maybe you cut him, but that's like a minimum of 3 cards that have Divine Shield and Taunt. So this guaranteed is gonna have. There's no way you'll draw all 3 of those cards. You definitely want to draw 4. So this is gonna guarantee to have Divine Shield and Taunt in Paladin. It's probably going to have Lifesteal too, because it's like a 50-50 to whether it's going to have Lifesteal if you only run Burn Bristle. But you can just throw in another Lifesteal card if you want to increase that. I don't know if you do. Maybe you need more stall, maybe you don't. Maybe you have 1 of these to fight aggro, and maybe this isn't a good card, but maybe with the corpse. The Corpse Taker, maybe it is worth it because it increases your chance of getting Lifesteal to this too. No, new release. Well, yeah, there is a new release. It's the Priest Legendary. And the Warrior Dead Man's Hand. Those are basically like Elise cards that like summon, copy their entire deck and put it into your deck. That's an Elise style effect. So is copy your whole hand and put it in your deck. There's only going to be 1 Elise per like rotation at the most, and I bet after the next rotation there probably won't even be a new one. They're probably going to bring back something else instead. Maybe they'll bring back like Reno, but he'll be different, or like Sir Finley. Yeah, you have to look back at my reviews and to see why the Priest, why I said the Priest Legendary is really underrated. Yeah, so this one's insane. It's like a 4.5, 5 star. It's like 5. It's a 5-star rating in Paladin and a Control Shaman, and then yeah. Wait, let's see. Is there? I didn't really look at the other. I mean, you can obviously just include a neutral card. Actually, I'm gonna need to see. Okay, first of all, I'll look. I mean, there's so many taunts. It's going to have a taunt in every deck. I don't think any of the new Divine Shield minions are good, right? That are neutral. And there is like some good lifesteal ones. Yeah, you could like put this in. Yeah, you could. Oh, you could put this in like the Murloc. You could make the Murloc Paladin and put this in, And then the Corpse Taker will have Lifesteal, and then here's another Murloc too. Yeah, Arthas is kind of like an Elise. It's more like it's more Ysera, which I love Ysera too. So it's of like a similar power level. It's like a little faster than Ysera though, because it's 1 mana cheaper, and it has a taunt too, so it can stall more. And the spells are a little more powerful than Ysera's also, on average. Ysera has some really powerful spells, but it also has like a few dead cards, like the 3/5 can't be targeted by spells or hero powers is not gonna, doesn't help you usually at the point of the game you get it. Lifesteal. So yeah, there's that as Lifesteal. This Bloodworm, it sucks. I think there's less neutral cards than normal, it feels like. Maybe not. I feel like there is though. Oh dang it, there's closed. I wanted to look at this and see, just to see if the Corpse Taker is good in anything besides Paladin and Shaman. I feel like it could be. I mean, you can definitely just like, you could make it good in any deck, like if you wanted to add the other cards in. But like, you don't want to add the cards in just to make this card good in other decks. Oh yeah, that's another, the Prince Tal'Darim can copy this too. The Corpse Taker. And you don't have like, this is a 1 cost. Yeah. 3 cost cards. So you couldn't run Rallying Blade, but yeah, Paladin doesn't really run 3 cost cards. So you could put and besides Rallying Blade, and you could just switch Rallying Blade for True Silver, like back. Or should Arthas be a classic? I don't know. He's really powerful, so probably not. Because he's honestly like, it seemed he's like as powerful or more powerful than Dr. Boom, I feel like, but it's just now like, at the time Dr. Boom was like, oh, this is in every set, it's way too powerful, and now cards are like the sets where they're at now, like Dr. Boom actually wouldn't be so overpowered right now if he was in, but so like Arthas might even be more powerful, so I doubt that they would put him in Classic. But yeah, I think like the character Arthas should have been in the first set, because he's like in my opinion, the most iconic character in the Warcraft lore, and it's definitely the best written character in the whole entire lore. And so it's kind of weird that they didn't have him. I think it was because when they first made the game, their intention was to have a Death Knight class, and then Arthas would have been the hero for that class. But as time went on, like quickly as time went on, then they're like, they've now firmly established the fact that they're not going to add any more classes ever, like basically because it's too hard to. And not only is it too hard, but their main excuse is that it's like classes don't have an individual identity, which that is actually true, but I feel like the real reason is because it's just hard to do, like production wise. But like it is true too that like other classes, the classes are already like, it's hard to make them unique, so adding another class is just like harder, it makes it harder. I think the Priest quest is definitely way better, but I don't know how much better. That's what I'm gonna have to theory craft after that. That's gonna be one of the first ones I build, or theory craft. Okay, so the Corpse Taker in Druid. What do we got here? We got so lots of taunt minions. Druid doesn't have any divine shields, right? Nothing Wind Fury. I think it does have Wind Fury actually, right? I wonder if the choose ones would count. So no, it wouldn't be good in Druid. So Hunter, yeah, again, every class has taunt, so automatically has taunt. Yeah, no. Wait, there's got to be classes that have Wind Fury. Like none of these classes have like Wind Fury minions. I forgot I had this card. Paladin, Priest. I mean, with all the thought steal kind of stuff, Priest and minion stealing and cabals and all that, like, oh, but that they wouldn't be in your deck though, so no. Well, if you like, what am I thinking? Well, yeah, if you play the new Priest Legendary, then you're gonna copy their whole deck. So if you're playing against Paladin or Shaman, then Corpse Taker is good in Priest if the Priest runs the new Legendary. So that's another class that's a class where it has potential in is Priest. So it's insane in Paladin, really good in Shaman, has potential in Priest. Not so much Rogue. Rogue doesn't even have taunt ones. Yeah, we already went over Shaman. Warlock, I don't believe they have any Divine Shields or Wind Furies, right? No. What about Warriors got? Oh yeah, Shaman has like Wind Fury stuff. Yeah. They've got like a lot of taunt stuff. So yeah, mostly in those three classes, Priest, Paladin, and Shaman. But then again, you can add. There's other minions that are good. Like Argent Squires are good. Like adding those into like an aggro deck, and then it would have Divine Shield and taunt. I don't think the Wind Fury is ever worth going for because it only has 3 health. It can still, even with Divine Shield, it might be. It might be in like a taunt druid. Like if you did the taunt druid and you have so many taunts, and then you just have that, and you put like you sneak like a Wind Fury minion in there. Lifesteal, yeah. Again, like most of the lifesteal minions are all the new ones. Yeah, so definitely good. Yeah, I don't know if any of the other quests changed too much. Taunt Warrior might have gained some tools, but it also dang it. It also lost stuff too because of there's this card down here. There's the card that makes it so you can't use your hero powers. So it's like they probably broke even, but they got new taunt stuff and some removal. Okay, on to. Oh wait. Okay, it was on Death Axe Punisher. I don't think I've seen this one. 4 mana 3/3 Battlecry. Give a random lifesteal minion in your hand +2/+2. There's not that many. So this doesn't have lifesteal until you play it, so it doesn't work with that. I guess that you could put this in hand buff Paladin. Put it. You'd be throwing that on Wicker Flame. You could put it on this Morel. Oh yeah, that would be pretty good. The one. But then you're paying for it though. You're paying for the stats of like in the back end. It's probably not good on that. Oh, it would be good in the priest one, right? In a priest deck, maybe one of in a Kazakus priest, and then because yeah, you got a. You'd be putting +2/+2 on this, and now it's a 6 mana, a 9 mana 6/10 with taunt lifesteal. So yeah, this could be a one of in Kazakus priest, but other than that, it's probably not going to see any play ever. It's not a very good card. Draconite. It says a lot of people review these cards and like they see like this is a bad card, right? Yeah. But why was it made? It was made for a reason. Like they didn't just throw a dice around and like randomly assign stats like that. Like they made a card that it works with something. So is that something worth it? Like so it might be worth it in one deck. So yeah, it's a bad card, but in that one deck, it's okay. Or like Dragon Priest. You can put it in Dragon Priest and run 2 of those, maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's you can play it in Priest. That's it. Drakari Enchanter, 3 mana 1/5. At the end of your turn, your effects trigger twice. I don't know. Don't know how good this card is. This is gonna be one of those. Stonehill Defender kind of cards where some people are going to say it's good, some people are going to say it sucks, and then it comes out and then everyone's wrong and like or like everyone says oh no it's like too weak. And just with this potential alone with the Lich King, like it might be worth just throwing one in, because if you can play this the turn before and then play Lich King, you get 2 off, or if you Lich King survives and you throw one and he's down. Or if you, yeah. What other end of turn stuff is there? It's on turn 3, a 1 attack with 5 health, and it doesn't have taunt, and it's just sitting there doing nothing. So you have to combo with something. And you can't combo it in the same turn with Lich King. End of turn, wait. See existing cards. What? Only priest cards? Wait, this doesn't make sense. What does it say? Shaman. Oh yeah, there's like Mana Tide Totem. You draw 2 cards, but then you have 2 bodies that aren't doing anything but drawing cards. End of turn effects. How is that not like coming up with anything more in this search? End of turn. Trun. Aha, the end, got it. Okay, so that could get out of control quick, but that's not going to work. Oh, Ragnaros the Light Lord. But again, you can't play it on the same turn because it's 8. Dang, this thing is... that's only 1 plus 1 plus 1. Actually, you know what? Maybe in hand buff Paladin then, because yeah, it's that body is not good, but if it got buffed by your other hand buff Paladin cards, then it could live. Like you turn 1 or turn 2, you play the 2 cost dude that because every 1 plus 1 plus 1, then he's on the next turn he's a 3 mana 2/6. Now that's gonna live, and then. But then I guess if you played it right away like that, then nothing else is getting affected. Yo, Primal Fin. Primal Fin's good. You get 2 of these. Cabal Traffickers, probably not gonna work. Blood Imps, I mean, this one could be good. The Grimy Gadgeteer, because that gets +2/+2. So, and that you can actually combo with it. So 3/4. So on turn 7, you give all the minions in your hand +4/+4. That's pretty strong. Like you're give every minion in your hand a Blessings of Kings. That's pretty good. There's some potential there. Oh, Baron Geddon. You could flame strike the board. Oh yeah, I forgot about earlier with the Frostlich Jaina. Then if you have Frostlich Jaina and you have a Baron Geddon in your deck, you heal up for however much damage that Baron Geddon is doing to everything, which is going to be a lot of damage. So Baron Geddon's really going to be good in that Elemental Mage deck. Yeah, it counts because he's doing damage. It's a damage that an Elemental is doing. It's not like it's not the battle cries don't count. I believe the battle cries don't count, but this one does, because this counts the same as like a Pyromancer. The way like if a Pyromancer has like poisonous on it, for some reason, the flame that's hitting everything counts as the Pyromancer hitting everything. Yeah. Like minions like Baron Geddon and Pyromancer, their AoEs count as hitting stuff with their face. So yeah, like that on the what's it called, like the 7 mana 6/6 that deals like the 5 damage or whatever. The 5 damage that deals doesn't count, but yeah, this would count. Moors, too slow. Ooh, Hogger. You get like two nulls of taunt. Cthulhu, oh, Ysarge. Ysera too. That's the same thing. These are all the same as like Arthas and the Light Lord. Dude, you could summon you could summon 2 ancient ones. Wait, if you control these at the oh wait, no, that's not how it's worded. Merge them into one. You can't merge them into one twice. So you can summon 2. So yeah, actually, there's not that many. So it has potential in a warrior, like a weird deck that you didn't think of that you can build maybe. On turn 10, you can get a big AoE with Baron Geddon if you put it in an elemental deck. But that's probably not really worth it. Other than that, yeah, like if you could get it to live, you have to play it before one of these minions and hope it lives, which it won't. So your best bet is to play a minion like the Lich King, the Ragnaros, the Light Lord, and hope they win. Like Ragnaros, the Light Lord tends to live a lot, just depending by the way the deck's constructed, and it's going to live even more when you combine it with the 1/1 taunt. So then you play one of those, and if they live, then you can play it. So it's definitely not worth putting 2 in your deck. We'll see what's in hand buff Pally you don't have then like the Light Lord, so I don't know. It only synergizes with that one card. Yeah, it has some 1-up potential. So yeah, it's not as good as it seemed. Like on that, I don't know if you watched that reveal stream, but it probably seemed better than it because it just happened to live, get down it, and then it like have other minions that got like stolen, and then it got played before or after that. So it got off a lot just in that one stream. So, but those were like rare scenarios. All right, moving on. Furnace Colossus, 6 mana 6/6 battle card. Discard all weapons from your hand and gain their stats. This is one where I'm gonna have to like build the deck to see how good it can be. Like you can throw a bunch of weapons in the warrior, and you if you play that card that draws the weapons, and then you play that, like you could get this thing to be out of control on curve even potentially, but then you could also get it to not have any of that synergy by the time you get it. And so I don't know, I'm gonna say probably not that great, but it has potential. Even if you're gonna destroy one weapon, yeah, I mean if you're gonna put the weapon in your deck, you probably don't want it destroyed, but you could go for some ridiculous I'm gonna at some point when I run out of all the other decks, I'm gonna make some meme deck where I have like every weapon and I have like 2 of these guys, and then when you play one of these, it becomes like a 6 mana like 15 like 12 or something ridiculous like that. A 2012 on turn 6. I think like you can do something like that. That's why I'm gonna not say it's a bad card. I'm gonna say it's like below average with like some potential. Meatwagon, 4 mana 1/4 Death Rattle, summon a minion from your deck with less attack than this minion. I think this card's being underrated. If not now already, now there's potential for like decks with eggs in them and stuff like that to be good already, but they'll probably definitely be good in the future. And just in egg decks, this is definitely a good card. And then in a hand buff Paladin or like any deck where you buff minions, this can be good because then it becomes like say if you just put Blessing and Might on it in Paladin, a 1-cost spell, and then it's a 4/4, and you trade it in, and now it can summon any 4-cost minion in your deck. So that's basically like a better piloted Shredder if you add just one small buff to it. Yeah, that's the way I'm saying it. It has the potential to be a better piloted Shredder, and piloted Shredder was insane. So like I think this is like this is one of those cards again where it's like, yeah, in most decks this is a bad card. You don't put it in most decks. You don't have to, and you put it in the decks that it's good in, and in the decks it's good in, it's really good in. Yeah, it can go in maybe like 2 or 3 decks, but in those 2 or 3 decks it's good. So Nerubian Unraveler, 6 mana, 5/5, spells cost 2 more. This is one of my favorite cards in the whole set. The Plant Legendary. Well, that card was actually already good. Oh wait, there was like 3 or 4 Plant Legendaries, so I don't know which one you're talking about. Yeah, there's like 4 of them. Oh, the Spirit Singer Umbra. Yeah, there's so many good Death Rattle cards. Man, yeah, that card works with this card too. And I think that's a 3 mana card, right? And because Death Rattle Priest got better, that card got better too. Are you talking about this one? Oh no, the Vorax. You're talking about the Vorax. So Spirit. Let me think about this one. After, yeah. So this is a turn 4. So like, I mean, that synergizes with that. It synergizes with a lot of the priest stuff. It synergizes. Man, the priest epic is really good with Spirit Singer. So that the Spirit Singer got a big buff in this expansion. Works with that. Yeah, the Vorax is got a little bit of a buff. That Paladin one that gives Death Rattle resummon, that makes the Vorax is going to stick around and be really annoying. Well, I don't know if Spirit Singer is an auto include, but it's it's gonna be good. It's still slow because it's a 4 mana 3/4. So yeah, Nerubian Unraveler. Yeah, so this is one of my favorite cards because it's one of the cards. Like I said, I really love cards that disrupt your opponent's hand, their gameplay, and their play style, their deck. Like cards that disrupt your opponent, I really like, and this does that. This is another card that I think is being really underrated. Because people are comparing it to Loatheb. Yeah, Loatheb's better. So this card garbage because the Loatheb's better. Those things don't correlate. Yeah, Loatheb's better. This card's good. I'm telling people that right now this card's good, and the reason why it's good is because like people are thinking of like, oh, you just play it on turn 6 as soon as you get it. It's like a Loatheb, or like Loatheb makes it so you can't even play any spells in the whole turn. Yeah, that's good, but also this has this is a permanent effect, so as long as it's alive, then their spells always cost 2 more. Yeah, yours cost 2 more. You don't put it in a deck that has a lot of spells or that relies on them anyway. But let's go up and see spells that. Let's just talk about new spells that are. This spell is insane. Guess what? They can't play this unless they have Innervate. Oh no, they can't even play it with Innervate because the Innervate will cost 2 mana. So they can't play this spell. And that's a big gap backup plan. Maybe they're gonna run out of cards if they're the druid that's gonna play that. In general, first of all, I guess I'll just go back and say, like, in general, like there was that one card in Mage that makes spells cost 1 more. That's not enough. Like 1 more is just like they can just. It's like floating 1 mana. It's not that big of a deal. But 2 more, guess what? You're gonna Flame Strike for 9. So you play this on 6. On 7, they can't Flame Strike anymore. They can't even Blizzard on turn 6 or turn 7. They can't even Blizzard. Yeah. So Blizzard costs 8 mana. So they can't Blizzard anymore. Their cheap spells that were cheap are no longer cheap. They're just like inefficient. Yeah, you can trade a minion into it, and then the spells cost the same. That's where Loatheb's better. But yeah, you don't have to play this. 1, you don't have to play this when they have board control, and 2, even if you do, then they might be forced to trade their minions. You can play it in a situation where it's like, well, if they don't inefficiently trade their minion into this, then they can't play the spells they need to play. Yeah, against. So, first of all, we'll just go to the new cards that are going to be actually unplayable or not good when that card's in play. So, like Spreading Plague, that's going to be delayed. I already said, yeah, they can't play that one. Let's see, what else? Any secrets in any deck, you're going to play secrets for 4 to 5 mana? No, I don't think so. If you do, that's going to really hurt you. That's going to hurt your tempo more than it hurt me to play a 6-mana 5/5. Alright, I'll be at. By the time you're back on, I don't know. I'll probably still be on the legendaries, or I mean the neutrals, because there's so many. But if you're not, I am going to take like a break after this. After I do the review, and then I'm going to eat, and then I'm going to get on and just do a bunch of theory crafting for the rest of the night. But yeah, let's see. I'm going to go over. So there's none of the new like mages spells are that big of a deal. Obviously, you don't want to play these spells in general, but yeah, like Pyroblast in Burn Mage, you can't play Pyroblast anymore. Let's go to just spells and then go to 10 mana. Or spells and like spell. Okay. So 7+ ones. Okay, so these are the ones like okay. Yeah, so that new Druid card can't play Call of the Wild. Can't play Pyroblast. Firelands cost 9. Is it worth playing a 9? Flamestrike, same deal. Like, Flamestrike is really turn dependent. You're gonna delay Flamestrike for 2 turns. Same with Firelands is really good on curve, but so you delay that potential. Dino Size for 10. You would actually play Dino Size for 10. Lay on Hands is okay to play on 10. That's like okay. You don't want to play it for 10. Yeah, again, you can't play Mind Control. Free from Amber, not terrible if you play it on 10. You don't want to, again, you don't want to play any of these spells for 2 more if you don't have to. 9 mana Sprint, that's garbage. Twisting Nether, okay to play on 10, and it would get rid of it, but not you don't want to. Again, that's just the expensive spells. Again, you don't want to play. Whoops. You don't want to play any of these. Like it takes away the use of Innervate, because now Innervate's like literally doing nothing, so you can't Innervate stuff out. Savage Roar costs more. Yeah, you're gonna like, you can play it on turn 6. So if they do Living Mana is gonna be a turn 7 play. Nourish for 7. Are you gonna play You're not gonna play Nourish if it costs 7. 7 mana Brawl. 7 mana Bloodlust. 7 mana Bloodlust if it ends the game is perfectly fine. Yeah, let's see what other new spells can't you play. Oops. Oh yeah, all these priest spells that are like, if you get them extra, they're okay, but you don't want to include them in your deck, then it's like you're completely losing tempo if you play them. Then yeah, all the cheap rogue spells. So any of the decks involving Auctioneer, you can't just go off with Auctioneer now, because Auctioneer, all those spells that cost 1 to 2 are now costing 3 to 4 a piece. So you can't play Auctioneer and the spell the same turn. We got nothing new for, yeah, Shaman's AoEs are then expensive, and they don't kill it. Defile for 4. Yeah, so that's the way that is. Underrated card. Be right back. Just need a quick bathroom break, and then I'll be on the Rattling Rascal. on to Rattling Rascal, 4 mana 2/2, Battlecry summon a 5/5 skeleton, Death Rattle summon a 1 for your opponent. So you get the 5/5, so you kind of think of it as a 4 mana 7 Senate, but then they also get a 5/5, so then you bring it back down and it's really only a 4 mana 2/2. However, so it's a terrible card, except it would be a terrible card, but it does, again, like most of these cards that are terrible, it has potential. Like you combo it with Treachery, so then you get the 5/5, and then you give them this 2/2 body, and then you're gonna get another 5/5. So if you did that combo, yeah, and then it also has the secondary purpose. Again, it's not just for playing itself as a card. It's a nerf to evolve and a potential buff to devolve. Nerf to evolve, buff to devolve. Nerf to Death Rattle, discover Death Rattle cards. Or summon random Death Rattle stuff. So yeah, it's. I feel like it's mostly meant to nerf those other things and add chaos into evolve, and you're gonna see. Oh man, you're gonna see this come up in so many tournaments where something's gonna get evolved or devolved into this, and someone's gonna be pissed, and everyone in chat's gonna be laughing. And then we go down to this card that I brought up so much earlier. Yeah, this is just this is a very unique card in the way you'd rate it, because so 6 mana 4/6, not very good, not like completely terrible body for that, but with its effect, depending on the meta, this is an auto include. It might even be a 2 of auto include, just so you can get rid of their 1/1s quicker. But most of the time, it'll probably never be a 2 of it. It'll probably just it's just a 1 of. But yeah, the anti-Jade Druid. Let's go to spells that cost 1. Anti-Divine Shield Interfire. Like what is everyone listening to? I mean, Jade Idol. So you now control decks are very, very winnable chance against Jade Druid, and some of these new ones are now favored. I think, or I know. I'll put money on it that some of these new control decks, if you put this in there, they will beat Jade Druid. So yeah, like that's a auto include in a 1-up in some of your decks. It is unfortunate because in your non-Jade match, and in the matches that it doesn't affect these spells in, then it's just like a loss of tempo card. Like you don't want to play it unless it's the only minion you have to play. But even then, like, it's not terrible. Like, it's not like it's they could have easily gave the same effect for how hard it hits Jade Druid. They could have like made this like a 6 mana 4/3 or something like that, or 6 mana 3/3. But like it still has a body that's like can contest the board at least. So yeah, so like this is everything currently that you're gonna get knocked out of the game. So we got Jade Druid. Jade Druid's really getting hit because Druid in general is getting hit by that card. Because you got that's what people aren't thinking about. This is you're not only taking out the Jade Idols of Jade Druid, you're also taking out the Earthen Scales, which are crucial for them surviving. I guess since you're gonna put in a control, they don't need it as much. But if you have a heavy hitting control deck, then that's gonna be a big deal. I mean, if they're teching in a naturalize or removal, that's going to be seldom. But like, yeah, Mark of the Lotus for token and aggro druids. So, like people go, oh, you're dumb. Oh, No, they're going to play that before. Yeah, yeah, they're going to get one, maybe even both Lotuses off before you even play this, because this is turn 6, so this isn't meant for the aggro decks, but there's times when, like, you can coin this out maybe on turn 5, and if you get the coin, and maybe they haven't played their Mark of the Lotus yet, or maybe they've played one, but the second one's still a threat, like if they follow that up with the living mana. So that's not irrelevant, like getting rid of Mark of the Lotus. What's Hunter losing? Nothing special, like Hunter's Mark, but I feel like the new poison thing's better than Hunter's Mark, and then they still got Deadly Shot, so they lose tracking. Oh yeah, if any of these decks, like, if you put this in a deck, and then, like, depending on the meta, if they think you're gonna be an aggro deck and they mulligan their quest, if they're a quest deck, and because they're just assuming you're gonna be aggro, and then you have that card, that's gonna be the funniest all, because then if you it's like Taunt Warrior and they mulligan the quest, and then you can burn their quests. That's gonna happen eventually. That's gonna be pretty rare, but that's gonna be the funniest thing ever. That one happens to me though. It won't be funny. So we got Mage is losing Arcane Missiles and Mirror Image. Probably doesn't matter. Although with that new minion that gives them a mirror image, I mean, you'll burn that. That like, probably doesn't matter, right? You'll take away like one, maybe some of the random spells they got in for the quest mage. You'll slow them down. Paladin, you'll burn actually a lot of stuff in Paladin. A lot of these things are hand buff Paladin cards, and a lot of these also in the something I didn't think about until just now is that, like, yeah, you don't usually choose include this in your getaway coda, but yeah, all the Murloc Paladin decks, actually just all of them, yeah, the Murloc Paladin decks, you don't always get to or always want to play your secret all right away, and if you don't, then it's gonna get burnt by that card. It's a good chance too, because that card is probably gonna be fairly common. I think it'll be like, yeah, it's really hard to say like how much it's going to be played in the first 2 weeks of Chaos, because people are just going to be going all in on all kinds of crazy decks, so it probably won't be that common at first, but once people realize that Jade Druid's still really good, even with this in, even if this was in every deck, like I was saying before, Jade Druid's still good, even if that's in every deck. Yeah, like, it's not like once people realize Jade Druid's good, like, then that card gets better though. And yeah, like buff Paladin was adaptation, Blessing of Might. If you're going for the like a new aggro style, like all these aggro buff cards. If you're going for like the quest, if you're gonna try and bring back the quest Paladin, if that's possible, probably not. But look at all this Smuggler's Run, another buff Paladin card. Lost in the Jungle, aggro Paladin. Yeah, again, like a lot of these aggro cards are going to get played before that card, but especially in an aggro Paladin deck where you have like so many one-cost spells, and there's a good chance that, even though like a lot of those aren't going to get played and they're just going to get burnt later on because they can't play all of them, or they can't draw or play all of them. So Priest is losing Inner Fire, and that'll cripple them. And that's actually this might actually be the biggest deal, like more than, for how it affects an individual deck, a bigger deal than Jade Druid, because Priest can't usually go off until like after turn 6, where they're gonna like OTK or like set a minion up to 20 and like hit you twice, like. So they usually have to wait, because you don't want to play Inner Fire obviously before the minion's health is up. You can't, so you have to save it. And then even if you did, you want to wait so you can make sure you get the hit in with the right minion. So Yeah, Inner Fire Priest is going to get really hurt, and then Pint Sized Potion, not played a lot, but I think it could get played more. Potion of Madness and Power Word Shield. So yeah, Priest is actually getting hit pretty hard because these two cards are common. So what's mostly going to happen is like Inner Fire Priest is probably going to be less common, especially first off because there's so many cool new Priest decks. People are going to be trying stuff, but these decks are going to still in almost every Priest deck, right? And if this Geist is just like in those decks, I mean, if you're just playing it and then you come across the Priest, yeah, you weren't trying to counter this with that. You were trying to counter Jade Druid, but this is pretty good. You get rid of like 3 to 4 of these. If you have like one of those, maybe they had one or two of these in the opening hand, so they burn 2. You still might burn 2 of these cards, and one of them is like a cycle card that gives them more health. Rogue, it's a surprisingly good card in Rogue. I mean against Rogue, because Rogue's got so many 1-mana spells that they're gonna. Okay, so Hallucination unlike Rogue. Even though all these spells are cheap and you could use them early on, you don't. You save them to go off with Gadget and Auctioneer. So you got like Cold Blood for your OTK kind of stuff, and Sinister Strike. So that's gonna be rough getting off an OTK deck against these control decks that have that Geist in there. And then you got Journey Blow is not really played. It could be played because they're trying to bring in this Death Rattle thing back in. Hallucinations commonly played. That's a good card, and that's going to get eaten. Yeah. Shaman's going to lose Evolve. Like, yeah. So this is just. There's a lot of these decks. Like you think of it as like, oh yeah, you're playing this card to counter Jade Druid, and then maybe if like Inner Fire Priest got out of hand, you'd be playing it for that. But it's like you put this in just in case of Jade Druid, and subsequently you just happen to hard counter a lot of different decks in a lot of different classes. Like so Inner Fire Priest, yeah, like basically it's countering a deck type in almost every class. So Shaman, it's not complete. Like now with the new hero power, you're not completely countering Evolve Shaman because now they can still evolve all of their minions and get them +2 with the hero, but then they have to wait till turn 10 if they do that combo. So, and that's not what Evolve Shaman wants to do anyway. And they can still evolve them one at a time. So it's not the end of the world, but that does hurt them, or at least that archetype. If an aggro shaman, like the aggro spell style shaman comes back, and yeah, it's going to take away, just Earthshock Nut. Like that matters, it's not a big deal. Yeah, most of these other ones don't matter. Warlock, Warlock, discard lock is going to get their soul fires taken away. That matters, and like discard lock might be the only, some type of discard lock might be the only good one still. We got Warrior. Like I said, Warrior is the most likely one to mulligan their quest, so you might be able to get really lucky and burn their quest. So Shield Slam, Blood to Ichor. Blood to Ichor is going to be big back in this meta, I think, with the new cards they got. And all the new cards they got, Blood to Ichor is probably going to be at least a one of. Yeah, so you're going to burn that. You're going to upgrade, not that big of a deal, because Pirate Warrior, I mean, it'll matter. Pirate Warrior won't be able to upgrade one of their weapons, but then they're just going to draw one of their other high attack weapons, so that doesn't really affect them. Oh, it burns a Whirlwind too. Forgot about Whirlwind. Yeah, so it's good against this new type of warrior that's probably going to be good. That card is good against them. Yeah, okay. So yeah. better, even better than it seems. Let's see what people are reading. People are reading 4.1. I'd say it's about 4. That's a fair rating. But I'm seeing, again, like these ones are like common people that just like don't know that much a lot of these ratings, but I'm seeing a lot of like pros saying this card's like not good. I almost feel like they're just trying to like downplay it and like spread negativity so people don't play it because it's going to be a frustrating card to play against, because you're gonna get a lot of shit ruined for you, and you don't. It feels bad when you put it in your deck and you don't come up against stuff that you're countering. Add a random death rattle minion that died this game to your hand. 5 mana, 5/3. So this is really slow, weak body, and you're adding it to your hand. If it was summon it, would, I think this would be good if it was summon it. It'd probably be too strong. It would probably be like OP if it was summon it actually, but to your hand is like, it's good in a value game. Like if you put this in a Death Rattle Priest and it was against another control deck, in the long run that would help you. But because when you resummon a Death Rattle minion, it's like you're getting 2 minions back usually. That's probably why they did it to your hand. But doing it to your hand is slow, and you're losing tempo by playing this body anyway. So yeah, this card's not. Not very good. Bone Drake. Love this card because I love Dragon Priest. 6 mana, 6/5. Death Rattle, add a random dragon to your hand. So this here, you see here, like, costs 1 more, but the body is a lot better. It's not an amazing body for the price, but it's not complete fodder. And then you're getting a random dragon to your hand, and it's a dragon, so that's 2 dragons for your dragon deck in 1 card, and you have the potential of getting dragons not in your class, like Sindragosa, and Sindragosa in a Dragon Priest is probably going to be pretty damn good. Maybe it'll be pretty slow even in Dragon Priest, honestly, but yeah, you could get a Dragonoid Operative off of this, and that's where it's one situation where putting it to your hand is actually better, because like you get the battle cry of, well, maybe it's not better. It's really good though. Get the Draconoid Operative to your hand. Yeah, this is a good card. I give this 4 out of 5. Auto include in any dragon deck, and then this is actually, even in non-dragon decks, this is really good because it's not like you don't have to have a dragon for it to go off. So any like slow control deck, this is good in, like a value control deck. Next one, we got 5 mana, 3/3 Corpse Raiser. Battlecry, give a friendly minion Death Rattle, resummon this minion. So this one has like really bad stats, but this effect, like I think I might have mentioned this earlier, this is like a powerful effect. Like you're basically giving a Death Rattle minion charge, but you're giving any minion Death Rattle. So you're giving any minion a charged Death Rattle effect, resummon it. So you could, I mean, you don't want to put like 2 of these in, but I wonder, the one thing I don't know is if this counts towards your quest, because you're not summoning a minion, you're just giving in I don't think it does. But yeah, you put this on. Maybe this Nerubian one is like maybe you run it into like a 4-3 and then, or maybe they ran it like I don't know. Yeah, you can, like if it's injured, then maybe they're just like setting it up to you finish by spell, then you run it into their minion and get it back. Or like, of course, the dream is to get it on something like the Lich King. Yeah, imagine you cast this on the Lich King, and then you just trade into like their Ragnaros the Light Lord or something, or like even if they don't, you're putting Death Rattle on it. If they don't have silence, and you put this, you're putting Death Rattle resummon the minion. So you if you just cast this on any big minion, Ysera, anything that's like a 10-10 or a 12-12, like what are they gonna do? Like they have to have silence or they're really screwed, or mind control. But yeah, so I think, yeah, casting it on a big minion is really good. You can cast it on a smaller minion and trade up, and then the minion comes back, and then it's basically like you got the body for free. So like you didn't actually pay 5 mana for a 3/3 body. You paid 5 mana for the 3/3 body plus whatever the body of. Like let's say this lost its. It lost all its divine shield, and then so you play this, and then you run it in and it dies, and then so you basically paid, you just get a vanilla 3/3 back, but still you only paid 5 mana for a 6/6. That's not bad. So like the break even point is like if you cast this on anything with a 3/3 body and trade in to a minion, then you're gaining value out of it. So like I think this is a good card. It's like another one that's being underrated. A lot of underrated cards in this set. Next one, Happy Ghoul. 3 mana, 3/3, cost 0 if your hero is healed this turn. So this is just insane in Priest. And another reason why I think Priest is going to be like, at least, yeah, it has a potential. There's definitely potential for at least one Priest deck to be tier 1. It's also really good in Paladin. Not as good, but still good. You could definitely put one of this in Paladin. Other than that, you don't play it in other decks really. Actually, with all the lifesteal minions, then this is good even in. This can actually be good in any deck. Never, I take that back. This is going to very often be a free 3/3. And even when it's not, it's like a 3 mana 3/3 is not good to play, but if it's not the end of the world, if you have nothing else to do on 3, then you can just play this, because you were gonna not do anything that turn anyway. You might as well play the 3/3 body, and it's the. All right. Yeah, one really good card. 4 mana. I don't think I've seen this one. Neen Banshee, 4 mana, 5/5. Whenever you play a card, remove the top 3 cards of your deck. Interesting. Whenever you play a card, remove the top 3 cards of your deck. Wait, so does that count? A discard Warlock, does that count as discard? I think it does, right? I'm pretty sure that does, so this would just be straight up good in discard lock because it's a 4 mana 5/5. That's just good stats. And then this is another one of the cards where it combos with Treachery. Man, yeah. A lot of these bad cards are really good in Warlock, but I mean, how many of them can you put in? Because you only have 2 Treacheries, and then you have to draw them too. if that counts as discard, which I'm pretty sure it does. I wonder if there's... What? People are rating it at 1.5. The only reason it could be a 1.5 is if everyone agrees that the cards you remove don't count as discarded cards. Whenever you play a card, man, if you gave this to like a freeze mage, they're fucked. Oh yeah, evolve, nerf and buff. Well, okay, these people seem to think this guy is asking the same question as me. This guy thinks no. This guy is saying definitely not, but he doesn't know. Where's the source? It either way has synergy with treachery. Yeah, so there's no one on that one at least knows about her. Anyone on Hearthstone know the answer? Well, they don't have that card up yet, right? It's a 4 mana, wasn't it? Yeah, 4 mana. They don't have that card up yet. Oh wait, I can refresh. Huh. I haven't seen this one either. So, Mindbreaker, 3 mana 2/2, hero powers are disabled. Again, this is a sweet tech card. It's good against Taunt Warrior, of course. This is like the biggest use that it would have. But let's see, with all the main other use, like well, if Hunter ever got out of control again, but that would be good. But let's see what other. Out of the Death Knights, because that's what it would be good for too. Is like some of these Death Knight hero powers are so good. You would shut down Hunter's zombies because there's not much they could do. Yeah, of course, priests would be really good to deny, but it is a 2/5, so it can be caballed. It can be. You can't really push into madness in it because it's got so much health. You can Shadow Word Paint it though, so it's not too hard for priest to get rid of. It doesn't affect this one because this one's passive, right? Hero power or hero powers are disabled actually. So I wonder if it does affect it. I'm assuming it doesn't because, yeah, I'm assuming it won't, but it could. And then this one's not too big of a deal. Same with the mage one. It would be convenient against Malfurion. It can stop a lot of synergies and clearing from Grom, but you're probably going to want to play it like right after he comes, because if you just do nothing for 4 turns and wait for the weapon to die, or 3 turns, then you probably are losing anyway. Same with Horsemen, so they have weapons that can deal with it. Actually, the Garish, the Scourgelord one doesn't kill it. It still lives because it has 5 health. So it doesn't really affect Uther too much, but you do want to deny that hero power too. That's something you really want to deny. It would be really good against Gul'dan. So yeah, if any of the heroes are good, and some of them definitely are, like oh yeah, it works against Jaraxxus too. Man, that would be really good against Jaraxxus. So yeah, this is a sweet tech card. They obviously put it in there in case some of these heroes got out of control, and I'm assuming they also put it with the Quest Warrior in mind, because a lot of people complained about Quest Warrior previously. Okay. Phantom Freebooter. I still say this is better in Pirate Warrior than the Naga Corsair, because you're gonna guarantee almost get a better body than it. So I don't understand. Like, yeah, the Naga Corsair gives a weapon +1 attack, so but you're probably gonna have a 3 attack weapon or more with this. With the Arc-Knight Reaper, you might have like a 5. If you get Arc-Knight Reaper, this is an 8/4 for 4. With Fiery War Axe, it's a 6/5 for 4, which is better than the Naga Corsair by 1 attack. Yeah, the way you don't get the +1 weapon, but you get it to the minion, which can attack infinitely. So I think this is better. Like, I'm mad that they made it because I hate Pirate Warrior. And this can go good in basically any weapon deck, actually, because that's just good stats. Like, it's gonna be like a 4 mana, like, yeah, with Fire War Axe, it's gonna be a 4 mana 6/5. That's really good stats. This might be like an auto include in like any weapon class. Like, if you're not playing the new weapons in Rogue, then it's not an auto include there. But if you're playing any new weapons, there's an auto include basically, and I think like any deck, this is a really good, like, True Silver, a 4 mana 7/2. I mean a four mana. I don't know. It's a 4 mana 7/5. It's not so much in all the decks, but the aggressive decks, I think so. So yeah, not an auto include in area. I take that back. Just because after that, it's just a vanilla high statted minion. Okay. Serenite Chain Gang, 4 mana 2/3, taunt, battlecry, summon a copy of this minion. So this is basically a neutral Spirit Wolf, and then the difference is it costs 1 more, but it doesn't overload you for 2. And then, yeah, they have taunts. Yeah, that's a good minion. It's gonna have a lot of uses. Nothing too insane. It was going to work good in the Druid and the Token Druid, both versions of the Druid deck. Good in Taunt Warrior. It will only count for one taunt minion played, but yeah, it's a good card. Shallow Graveyard, 3 mana, 3/1. That's just way too weak of stats. That means literally any 1-drop minion can kill it, and then it adds the Death Rattle minion to your hand, and it's a random one. If it was Discover, then maybe, but it's like you're losing a ton of tempo, and there's a lot of shitty Death Rattle minions, and there's a lot of these new ones. Like again, they can be good in particular decks, but they're not good in general. So Ticking Abomination, 4 mana, 5/6, really good stats for the cost, but the Death Rattles deal 5 damage to your minions. It's gonna be interesting to see what aggressive decks can play this, or like, can you put it in Freeze Mage? But again, this is another potential combination with the Warlock one, where you send it to their board, and with that one, it's actually one of the more likely ones, just because you can probably at the time you play this, it's probably not going to die the first time, so you could probably kill a minion and then send the minion over to their board, and then yeah. So it's like, it has potential. It's not that great, but it has potential. Archis Veteran. I haven't seen this one. 1 mana, 2/1 Battlecry. Give a friendly minion +1. Oh, I have seen this one. So it's like, kind of like an Abusive Sergeant, but less. It's like the old Abusive Sergeant, because it's got the 2 attack still, but it gives 1 less attack than it did before. So it's basically like the same thing as the current Abusive Sergeant, because the current's a 1/1, right, and gives it +2. But that's temporary. This is actually, this doesn't say whether it's permanent either. Oh no, it doesn't say this turn, so it is permanent. This could be good in aggro. This is like one of the other aggro cards there. There's not very many aggro cards that got added this set, thankfully, but that's one of them, unfortunately. It's could be good in aggro. I'd say it's like a average to below average. Bloodworm, 5 mana, 4/4 lifesteal. That's just, and it's a beast though, so it's almost like this is meant to be copied with zombies. But yeah, it's like got a weak body for that turn. Like, I don't know. Maybe this is something that you start putting in decks just to heal. You put it in the Warlock. It's a pretty poor thing to put in though. I don't know. I might be underestimating lifesteal. Like a lot of people might be. Lifesteal might be one of those things that's like, oh man, lifesteal was actually like insane, and we thought it was just like average. Like Blizzard seems to think that lifesteal is really good, so maybe I am like hesitant to call anything with lifesteal bad. Alright, man, burning through these. Bone Mare, 7 mana, 5/5, give a friendly minion +4/+4 in taunt. So this card's really good. This is one that people are saying is gonna like auto include in Arena, Insane in Arena. I think it can be put in a lot of constructed decks. Like, it's basically 7 mana, 9/9, and half of it as taunt. can synergize in the Taunt Druid deck. Yeah, it works well in any control deck pretty much. Yeah, I like the card. Strong card. Give it like a 4. Cobalt Scalebend, 5 mana, 5/5 dragon. At the end of your turn, give another friendly minion +3 attack. It's a dragon, so that this is like a good dragon deck. It's like pretty similar to Draconoid, or not Draconoid, the one from Blackrock that got rotated out, the one that did 3 damage. It's not. It's got like a little bit better body for the same price, and it adds the same amount of damage to the board, but you're putting on a minion, so you're gonna have to trade your minion. But it's like a 5 mana, 8/5 worth of stats, and 3 mana of that is charge, so that it's a good minion. Yeah, that one's give it like a 3.5, 4. Deathscale Knight, 1/1 Murloc with lifesteal. Like this has a potential to combination with other things. I'm just I'm blanking out right now. Obviously, in Murloc Paladin, where you buff it, you get with the War Leader. This becomes a 3/3, and suddenly it's a 3/3 Murloc with lifesteal. So that's good in those decks. You don't really need lifesteal in those decks though, and you're gonna have to cut something good at it. Maybe it's better in a Murloc Shaman. You could put it on I guess the buff palette. You could do buff paladins and give it. I don't know. Maybe like I was saying before, there's like the decks that the Corpse Taker, you put it in a non-paladin or shaman deck, or actually even like you put it in shaman because you get lifesteal. You put it in one of those decks so you get lifesteal, and then it's a 1/of, and then like you can just play it on turn 1 as a token if you have to. But that wouldn't be very good. I don't know. I feel like it's not that good, but I might be missing something. Death Speaker, 3 mana, 2/4 Battlecry. Give a friendly minion immune this turn. That's good. That's a good minion. You can trade up for free. It's basically like, could also be looked at as Battlecry, deal the damage, attack damage equal to any minion on your battlefield. Like you could look at it like that, and then and because you're not losing them any health or off of your minion, and then the stats are okay. 3 mana, 2/4. They're not great. You'd rather it would be a 3 mana, 3/4, but with that ability, that's good. It's a nice versatile card. This could be going into all kinds of different decks. And then a Fallen Sun Cleric, 2 mana, 2/1. Give a friendly minion +1/+1. Maybe it has potential, but it doesn't seem good. Like the body's so weak. A 2/1 for 2 mana, and then maybe what you class this on a cleric and priest, and it's a 2/4 cleric. But then this dies. Maybe it's worth it. Yeah, it's like it has potential. It's nothing. It's not blowing me away. But this could also be really good in aggro decks too, or troublesome. Wait a minute. What? Isn't it just like straight up way better than what was the other card? One mana. Oh no, that's 1 mana, 2/1. Yeah, see, that's 1 mana and gives it plus the. If you're just doing it for attack, then that card's better. But that also gives the health. That might be better. I don't know. Yeah, you can print both of these and drag. Yeah, there's another aggro card. Could be a problem. Could be not worth it. Grave Shambler. 4 mana 4/4 elemental. Whenever your weapon is destroyed, gain +1/+1. Okay, that's just not good. This is something you. It's a nerf to the 4/5 elemental that discovers elementals. Because yeah, pretty much any minion you're gonna get, at least when you get a 1/3, you're gonna get a guarantee like good elemental pretty much always out of that card. This decreases that chance. If you're in a non-weapon class, now you might just get stuck with like this could be one of your decent options, or it's like it'll be like another bad option, and then even in a weapon class, I know maybe if you put this in part where you're getting burning a lot of weapons. Oh, wait, actually in rogue, could it be good in rogue? You're just constantly like using your regular hero power and just like swinging it, and it's being broken. Maybe it has potential there, but I think it's more of like a nerf to elemental cards. Grim June Necromancer, 4 mana battlecry, summon 2 1/1 skeletons. So that's a 4 mana 4/6. That's good, but it's split into like a lot of weak bodies, so like stuff can trade into it. So not that great. This is going to be really good in arena. So really good in arena, not too great in constructed. Heidelnar Frostrider, 3 mana 4/4. Freeze your other minions. So this is meant to have synergy with the Shaman card, which is a little too slow and not good enough. I mean, this improves that, but why else would you want to freeze your minion? Because this is a neutral card too. Like that means it could go in any deck. Why would you want your minions frozen? I mean, if you were afraid of like a potion of madness, that would be a really weird thing to freeze all your minions for. Maybe this is set up for the future. There's going to be more freeze synergy stuff, so this will be a little better in the next expansion. Other than that, it's well, I mean, it is a 3 mana 4/4, which is good stats. Can you play it in freeze mage? I know you wouldn't want to play it in freeze mage. Probably not good. Necrotic Geist, 6 mana 5/3. Whenever one of your other minions dies, summon a 2/2 ghoul. Not good. It's like similar to the one that draws cards, and with a not as good of effect, and it costs 2 more for basically the same body. And you can't just like continually whirlwind either, because the ghouls are only 2/2, so you can only like do it twice, and it only has a 3, so there's 3 health, so you couldn't do it more than that anyways. Yeah, not very good. Not even good in arena. Night Howler, 4 mana 3/4. Whenever this minion takes damage, gain +2 attack. It's too expensive for the body, but it could be okay in arena. I think this is like arena. Like some of these cards are good in arena, but that's why they're common. So they're common neutral, so you get a chance to drop them in any deck. So it like thins the gap. I think like a lot of these ones down here are more for arena. Skelemancer, 5 mana 2/2. If it is your opponent's turn, summon an 8/8 skeleton. Death Route. I haven't seen it. So, but because it's a 2/2, they can just ignore it forever. And it costs 5 mana. You could, it would be good in Hand Buff Paladin, probably, like a later game one. It's kind of expensive for that deck too, but because I mean, if you buff this up, then you can't ignore it, right? But then if you kill it, you get the 8/8. it's vulnerable to silence, it's vulnerable to Cabal, it's vulnerable to Potion Madness. So it has some potential. If you buff it up, it's dangerous. But other than that, it could be a liability, and you'll lose so much tempo on it. So the only vanilla card, but it's not really vanilla because it affects the game so much. The 0 mana 1/1 beast Snow Flipper Penguin. This has just like a lot of uses in a bunch of different decks and potential. Like you can put it in Token Druid, Beast Druid, Hunter. It makes it so you can get a earlier, faster start in Hunter. This could be a key card in the new Hunter decks. It might be what pulls them up into like viability, just because you can throw it down with your other cards, and at least maybe you could stall to get your other hero power, or you can use it for more aggressive Hunter decks or mid range and like do better early on. You can also, with the zombies thing, that means if you just want to discover, if you get it in it as a discovery option, then you're just basically getting a random discovered beast with a +1/+1. So then it's good for that. Alright. So yeah, I think this card's good. It's like, I'll give it like just because of its uses, I'll give it like a 4. Spellweaver, 6 mana 4/4 plus spell damage +2. Bad. Yeah, it's like a more expensive evolved Cobalt. It's just 6 mana 4/4 is really bad, and that's not worth the spell damage. Sunborn Valkyrie, 5 mana 5/4 Battlecry, give adjacent minions +2 health. So it's like a Defender of Argus, but costs 1 more, but it has a way better body, and instead of taunt you get +2 health. And in a lot of situations this is better than Defender of Argus, but when you want the taunts, the Defender of Argus is better. So yeah, this is a good card, but it's nothing like great. There's gonna be some value decks that you're gonna see this in, and it's gonna be better in Defender of Argus than those decks. And yeah, it's worth playing, but nothing like special. Just kind of average-ish, like a 3.5 rating. Tainted Zealot, 2 mana 1. 2 mana 1/1. Divine Shield plus spell damage. That might be good in Shaman. Not that great. Otherwise, like, I might be missing something. It could be good in Rogue too, actually. It's cheap and it's gonna survive 2 hits. Yeah, it could be good in Rogue too. Tuskar Fisherman. It's like one of my favorite arts here they got. It's a cool one. 2 mana 2/3 Battlecry, give a friendly minion +1 spell damage. See, this is better. These cost the same. Well, I guess that survives 2 hits, and whatever you give the spell damage might not survive a hit. And generally, this is better. This is a good card. You know, on the downside, it's just a 2 mana 2/3, which isn't terrible. But you're probably going to give spell damage to something. In a deck you deliberately put this in, like, this is good in Shaman. This is definitely a good card in Shaman. Maybe good in Mage too. It'll be good in Tempo Rogue if Tempo Rogue gets good enough. Yeah, okay, moving on. Wrapping up here. Venomancer, 5 mana 2/5 with Poisonous. I don't think it's worth a stat set. I mean, it's going to live through multiple hits, but it's... I'm going to say this is bad, but not unplayable. It's bad, though. like it might, you know, it does trade into. It might get you 2 trades though. But if it's 2 like weak minions, then it's the same as if it was a normal 2/5. And you might get it Caballed. Yeah, yeah, definitely below average, probably bad. Varaghoul, 3 mana. It's a White Walker, 3 mana, 3/1, Death Rattle. If it's your opponent's turn, summon a 2/2 Ghoul. So it's kind of like a 3 mana, 5/3. Except 2 small minions can. I guess a 5 mana 5/3 a small minion can kill anyway. You know what, this one's pretty good actually. I was thinking it's bad. I mean, like I was saying with the other one, with this the Shallow Gravedigger, like a 3 mana 3/1 is terrible, right? But this just by itself, like not synergizing with any cards, is bad. But with in a priest deck, or the give this minion resummon the minion, or the in the paladin deck to bring the minion back with 1 health, like in all of those, like all those synergies make this card actually pretty good if they're in those decks. Also, yeah, it completes your quest. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, so with the 2/2 Ghoul, it's okay. It's not. Yeah, it's just average. Yeah, it's average. It can be good. It's usually below average. It can be bad. It can be good. Sometimes it's just average. Yeah, so it's overall it's just an average card. But yeah, at first I thought it was bad, but it's not bad. Wicked Skeleton, 4 mana 1/1 Battlecry, gain +1/+1. I've been like hunching over. I don't know how long I've been doing that. Wicked Skeleton, Battlecry, gain +1/+1 for each minion that died this turn. So even if like 5 minions died, if like 4 minions died, it's a 4 mana 5/5. So 4 minions would have to die for this thing to be okay. So no, that's not good. Wretched Tiller, 1 mana 1/1. Whenever this minion attacks, deal 2 damage to the enemy. Oh, that one's pretty good actually. In aggro, man, why did they give me aggro cards? Why are they giving aggro decks cards? They were doing so well up until the last couple days, and they just suddenly revealed some aggro. They snuck in some aggro cards last minute in the bottom of the neutral vanilla section. Because I mean, basically, if this attacks, it's a 1 mana do 3 damage to the enemy hero, and then yeah. So if you play this if you go first, you're gonna do 3 damage. This might even be playable in Pirate Warrior. Yeah, like, would you cut? I'd cut one of those Naga Corsair thing, dude. Put this in Pirate Warrior. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that can prevent it. And if they go first, it's really bad if they go first, and it's really good if you go first in aggro only. Give this thing some health. What about? Well, there's that card. What was that card that gives you? Not the. Whatever. I don't even want to think about it. But there is a card that gives it health. You can put Divine Shield on it in a Paladin deck. You could put this in an aggro Paladin deck, and Pirate Warrior. But mostly, yeah, it's probably better in aggro Paladin. Man, that's scary in aggro Paladin. You put a bubble shield on it, you adapt it to give it plus health. There you go. Aggro Paladin might be a thing specifically because of this card. Fuck that card. And with that wraps up all these. So it's going to give a final thoughts on, yeah, after all that, I still stick with what I initially thought after just seeing all the things and reviewing everything in detail, which is I think Control Paladin is the best deck. I think a new Tempo Warrior will be good. Yeah. I think this Priest got way better with multiple decks. It got better. I think I think Elemental Mage is going to be a thing. I think it's good enough, but without building it. But I don't know for sure. I could be wrong on that. I'm going to theory craft that. I think you can put this in a lot more decks than people think. Frostlich Jaina. Hunter, still not going to be viable probably. Control Hunter, definitely not. Maybe Secret Hunter or a mid-range Hunter might be. Druid got way better and it was already good. Jade Druid's still going to be a thing. Taunt Ramp Druid will be good. Aggro Token Druid will be tier 1 still. And then yeah, so Druid's really good. If you're a Druid fan, you're happy. Yeah, Paladin's insane. They got one of the 3 best cards. Uther, that's one of the 2 best heroes. I think the Priest one's the 3rd best hero. Death Knight. This card's an auto include in every Paladin deck. Yeah, Paladin just got stronger earlier and late game. Their late game and the early game got stronger, and they were already a good deck. Rogue didn't get anything too exciting besides the Death Knight hero, but with next expansion, it's looking like the way they're heading by next expansion, Tempo Rogue could be good. The Shaman hero is a good one. It's playable even without any extra synergy, really. The freeze mechanic doesn't seem like it's going to work. The Warlock Death Knight hero it's going to be too hard to get to turn 10 and survive. You're probably not going to be playable because even though this is one of the, if not the best hero, if it was easy to get there, it's too hard to get there. But they gained some stuff, and there's going to it's going to be fun messing with people with Treachery and Gnome Baratu. Warrior got a lot better. It seems like the Tempo Warrior is going to be back. There's going to be like a Control Warrior is going to be good. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention with Priest. Yeah, Priest. So we're going to have like a legit Control Priest. Death Rattle Priest is probably good, but maybe it might not be good enough. But I'm thinking it's going to be tier 2. Kazakus Priest will probably be good enough. And this card's underrated and can go in Kazakus Priest and Control. What else? Here we'll go through the classes. Yeah, Warriors. One of the best Death Knights. Their Death Knight's really good. And then best card in the set, the Lich King, is the Dr. Boom of the set. It's going to go in every control deck. Arthas is going to go in a lot of deck. That's a really good card. These are both fun cards. They're good. Skulking Geist, I've already said it, and I said it. Counters, puts Jade Druid in its place. Doesn't eliminate it though. Jade Druid's still going to be a thing. A lot of these neutral cards are underrated. These neutral tech cards, just because they're tech cards, people are acting like they're not good. Corpse Taker, really good. Yeah, about Dragon Priest. Oh yeah, Dragon Priest is probably gonna maybe even be tier 1. It's definitely gonna at least be tier 2, I think. Yep. All right, and then if you're watching this, you go on and click over. I'm taking a break. I'm gonna eat, but if you're just watching this on YouTube, then you can just click over. I'm gonna theory craft a bunch of decks. That's one of my favorite parts. It's basically like I got, you know, half of the fun of playing Hearthstone is creating cool decks, and I can do that now even before the game comes out. So gonna try to make decks and to see for sure which ones, you know, just by building them out you can get a better sense of what ones will actually be good. And then I'll have my decks ready to go right away too when the game launches.